Hello New World, and welcome to another Ayoub build guide. You guys asked for the healer build and I'm delivering, so let's check it out. The first thing to say is that healing in New World is the same across all PvE content. Whether you're playing mutations or raids, the build and gameplay are the same. Healing in New World is very different from other MMOs. Your job is not mainly to heal, but to act as a support damage dealer. What I mean by that is that the life staff is your secondary weapon and not your primary. Sure, you throw heals when needed, but then what? Do you just stand there hitting with your life staff? No, that's useless. To be effective, you will use another main weapon and swap to the life staff only when needed. That weapon is the Void Gauntlet. Let's break it down and explain why the VG is such an important weapon for any team. Other than dealing considerable damage, it is the best support weapon in the game. I will also be using terms like Empower, Weaken and Rend. If you are unfamiliar with these mechanics, check out my other video where I cover them in detail. The VG skill tree and playstyle are simple. Attack with Void Blade, keep Oblivion and Essence Rupture active. When I say Void Blade, I mean melee attacks. Attacking with the Void Blade applies Disintegrate, which reduces enemy armor by up to 30%, making them take significantly more damage. Oblivion is an incredibly strong skill. Everyone inside it gains 15% Empower, and if you attack an enemy while standing inside, you apply Weaken, reducing the damage they deal by 5%. Finally, Essence Rupture is your main survivability tool. Your team's DPS don't survive because of Sacred Ground or Beacon's heals. They survive through lifesteal. Essence Rupture makes them leech HP from attacking bosses, which is very important for survivability. The PvE meta is melee focused. No matter what, melee performs better than ranged. As a healer, it's also easier to heal melee players clumped together rather than ranged players running around outside your healing zones. However, even ranged players can be managed. By applying Essence Rupture to enemies, if they take damage, all they need to do is keep attacking and their HP will refill without you having to babysit them. This way you provide passive healing while also buffing your team with Empower and debuffing enemies with Rend and Weaken. The Void Gauntlet also sustains itself through lifesteal, so all the buffs and debuffs you create apply to you as well. So where does the life staff come in? The tank is usually the one holding aggro and taking constant hits. Since their DPS is lower, their lifesteal is weaker. This is where Sacred Ground comes into play. It's not just healing, the Fortifying Sacred Ground perk increases the tank's armor, making incoming hits weaker and requiring fewer heals. Beacon, on the other hand, has a wide radius. If placed correctly, it can reach both the DPS and the tank. With Keen Beacon, it also increases critical hit damage, boosting the group's DPS. The final perk you want is Orb of Protection. If someone needs a quick heal or the tank is struggling, Orb of Protection not only heals but also grants Fortify. Thanks to its short cooldown, combined with Refreshing Move and the Revitalize passive, you can spam it when necessary. Additionally, your light attacks heal allies when passing through them with the Blissful Touch passive. So how do you play? It's very simple. Play aggressively. Keep Oblivion active at all times, drop Sacred Ground under the tank, and the rest of the time focus on attacking with your VG. Your Void Gauntlet skill tree should use the left side ultimate for periodic AoE heals, while your Life Staff skill tree should focus on a full AoE healing build used only when necessary. Now let's talk about the gear and weapons. For the Void Gauntlet, you want Disdained Infliction and Refreshing Move. The easiest weapon to get is Fracture, where you can add Disdained Infliction. An alternative is the Hoplite VG, but keep in mind that bleed effects from Keenly Jack can only be applied by one player, usually not the healer. Your best VG would have Disdained Infliction, Refreshing Move, and Attunement. In a coordinated group, make sure you don't have the same attunement type as another player. If your team lacks Sundering stacks, you can go for it instead. For the life staff, the best perks are Blessed, Refreshing Move, and Fortifying Sacred Ground. Options include the Hoplite Lifestaff that drops from Gorgon, or the Doombone Lifestaff from Worm. There are several 700 gear score named Lifestaffs, but why settle for 700 when you can go for better? The best option is the artifact lifestaff Hekita, which comes with refreshing move and blessed, and you just need to add the final perk. As for gear, it's simple. Go for full enchanted ward and 4 refreshing pieces. The best artifact choice is the attuned leather pants from the main story, which boosts attributes and helps you reach critical thresholds. You don't need any specific weapon perks, so gearing up is easier than you might think. Light hoplite armor pieces, aside from the boots, come with enchanted ward and refreshing. If you want this, go for the silken letham, a headpiece with the weapon perk savior, and the silken cocoon, which boosts crit chance. For boots, any piece with enchanted ward works fine. If you're a beginner, start with the 675 faction gear. It comes with health, refreshing, and enchanted ward, the perfect starting setup for a healer. Stronger versions include the 700 gear score Azoth light pieces. You also don't need very specific weapon perks, but you can use Nullifying Oblivion and Keen Beacon in your open slots. For jewelry, start with the amulet. You want health and protection. The third perk doesn't matter much, empowered, fortified, or anything else works. Farm some named amulets or upgrade hoplite ones. For the ring, the most important perk is Hearty. You really don't need much else. Sacred is a good secondary perk if possible, and a third option could be Keen Awareness. The Elemental Band is also a great option. It's what I've personally used in many of my previous videos. For the earring, it depends on your preference. Endless Thirst, Hoplite Earring, or any with Refreshing Toast and Empowering Toast are solid options. Now let's move on to attributes. You want 25 Strength, 25 Dexterity, 350 Intelligence, up to 50 Constitution, and the rest into Focus. With 50 Constitution, you'll still be able to hit the 250 Focus with food. With 0 Constitution, you can reach 300 Focus directly. A full Magnify build ensures you only need one non-Magnify item. Since lifestaffs come usually with Focus, a full 7 to 5 build will work fine, even if you end up with 5 extra points in the Intelligence. It doesn't matter because you'll still reach 300 Focus. For gems, the good news is that weapons are straightforward. Run diamonds. Diamonds give extra damage and healing at full HP, and since you're constantly leeching, this buff is active almost 100% of the time. For the Void Gauntlet, I recommend going further with a Rune Glass. I personally use Abyssal Diamond since nobody else in my team does. For armor, it depends on the content you're running. Use mutation-specific gems and defenses and change them to boss-specific ones when needed. One important thing to mention, not everything is always optimal. Not every group plays meta, and even if they do, some bosses are easier fought at range, such as Medusa or Commander Marius. As a healer, you must adapt. If your group is playing ranged, you'll lose the disintegrate effect from your Void Blade. My advice, swap to Life Taker, which applies disintegrate from range attacks. Place Oblivion under your team and keep Rupture active. That way, you still maintain healing and debuffing without losing effectiveness. This is the best way to play healer in New World. But remember, the best way is not the only way. If you're struggling to survive, swap to Featherweight for more armor and increase your Constitution. It's totally fine to run 100 plus Constitution as a healer in M3 if it guarantees your survivability. The more you play, the more you'll learn boss mechanics and enemy attacks, and over time you can safely lower Constitution and swap to higher damage gear. If your team is struggling and you can't keep up with healing, consider swapping Orb for Divine Embrace or even Splash of Light for stronger heals. At the end of the day, meta is not everything. Your playstyle and survivability matters more. If you liked this video, drop a like and subscribe for more. What build do you guys want me to cover next? Let me know in the comments and see you in the next one. IchBinAyoub.